love Mike Hansen Archives.
Hello, this is Jeff Davis at the Preparedness Expo in Dallas, Texas, here with Terry Cook, author of several books and videos. Hi, Jeff. Pleased to meet you again, Terry.
Pleased to meet you.
And here's some of his books here.
A 400-page book, The Mark of the New World Order, 1-hour documentary, the same title. Educates people on identification technology and how we're going to be controlled and enslaved in the New World Order system of world government. Of course, this is all Christian stuff from a Christian perspective. Therefore, it basically informs people about the fulfillment of Bible prophecy, the rise to power of the Antichrist, whose number is 666, and how he'll cause us all to receive a mark, the mark of the devil on the right hand or forehead, without which no one will buy or sell in the New World Order. That's why I call my book and videos The Mark of the New World Order.
And you're basically claiming that this chip, of course we see this movement towards the cashless system, the smart cards and all that. These are, your information is that these are preliminary stages towards conditioning the American public to accept this chip.
That's correct.
Terry Cook, pleasure to meet you.
Thank you, Jeff. God bless you.
Thank you. Good job.
Okay, see you now.
Keep it up.
Y'all gotta speak up though. So y'all speak up.
Blonde hair, yeah, in Vegas. You and Bo and Ron Curran.
All right.
You probably might not remember. Jack McClan, baby. I've given your books out.
Fantastic.
Operation
It's
Vampire
working.
Killer.
Really working. More police and soldiers are contacting us every day. Really wonderful. People are sending it out to them, and they're contacting us. We're getting their educational process going, so it's really great. We appreciate you handing those out.
But on the same token, though, the enemy is, in a lot of respect, winning the wars now.
Well,
You say, Jack?
they're worried that we're winning, because I hear that all the time from government agents, both federal, state, and local. They're worried we're winning, so they're speeding up, because they realize if we get their enforcers back on the side of the people, because 90% of the enforcers are patriots, we're just screwed up in the head.
Right.
But we're getting them back on the side of the people, and it's worrying them all to pieces, because they can't enforce anything without their enforcers committing, tyranny. They won't go along with tyranny if we get it. So we've really got them nervous, very nervous. So much so the military publications are writing about us now that the military shouldn't read any of our stuff. Police departments, Dallas Police Department, a little police officer just came by a few minutes ago, a little female who I've known for a number of years, good patriot. But they're now sending them through all classes about the anti-government groups, and she says ours is at the top of training. Don't read our material for the police and soldiers. So that tells us, brother, we're winning this thing. They're nervous. They're really nervous. They got to figure a way to shut us down. The best way is to blow up some buildings.
Yeah, I agree.
Because then we think right-wing, crazy, anti-government people here are doing it, and we ask for martial law. Those people, they want us to beg them for martial law. So we can expect, I believe, more explosions around this. A lot of explosions.
When did you first come on to this New World Order? I've been studying it myself for about 5 years.
17 years, almost 18 now. Little old man in Sun City, Arizona, about 85, 90 years of age. I was a police officer. I was there in uniform, and I spoke to his group, about 35 senior citizens. He embarrassed me so much in front of that group, showing me that I was a violator of my oath of office, and I didn't believe it. But he proved it to me, and I was so appalled that I swore an oath to this Constitution when I was in the military. I took it serious. I swore an oath to the Constitution when I became a police officer. I took it serious. So when this little 95 or 90-year-old man somewhere in there showed me that I was violating my oath on a weekly basis as a matter of policy and procedure, I was shocked. And he shook me away. So I give him a lot of credit. Never met him since. I don't even know who he was, but he changed my life. I've got that on video, by the way, that whole story, exactly how that happened. It's about an hour and a half long. But that's what it did for me. Everybody has their story, how they woke up, right? You're watching the Jeff Davis Show. My name is Officer Jack McLam, and watch for my new book here. We've got an updated Vampire Killer 2000 manual. This is our police action plan for stopping world government rule.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
That's all we need.
Thank you, man.
Nice
Okay,
meeting
thanks
you.
for your work.
Oh,
Appreciate
yeah.
you a lot. We're on the
It's fun
same
fighting these days.
in the same fight. That's right.
I think it's fun. I think.
A lot of people get depressed about it. We're good guys.
Who are you with? Oh, okay.
We're not the establishment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, good, yeah.
All right, I won't be on the
Probably all these man.
Where are they at? That's the one in Louisiana.
Mississippi.
That's the United Nations Volunteer
I know. I do.
This right here, have you seen these right here?
We've even played this. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. Greenville, South Carolina.
Testimony of his men. We got the pictures from inside the bunkers. This is inside Camisea. These are the chemical and biological rounds that they didn't show you. You go take pictures of that, you can see that now one of these crates, now one of them has Arabic markings on them. They're all written in English or in Russian. They indicate that they're from Amman, Jordan, from Middlesex, England, from the U.S., and from Russia. Now, you may have been noticing on the news they show you clips of when they exploded Camisea. That's what this...
Hi, I'm Joyce Riley. You're watching the Jeff Davis Show, and for more information on what's happening with the Gulf War illness, stay tuned to the Jeff Davis Show.
What time are y'all leaving? About 8 or 9?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, because what I need to do is ask to borrow your set up there.
Flip it up a little bit, Jeff.
Hey. That's good. That's good. That's good.
Connor Vernon.
Love it. Good, good. That's good.
Fox. I'm getting them.
Expect that.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff, you.
Jeff Davis Show down here at the Preparedness Expo. Retired Lieutenant Colonel James Boatwright just burned the UN flag here amongst a sea of viewers. That's the flame. Tells you what we think about this new world order down here. They can basically take that new world order and stick it where the sun don't shine. Right?
That's right. You got it. That's the real truth.
Now, Terry Cook was interested in some of the stuff I was doing. He wants me to send him some world order.
Is it really high?
The War and Mercy Powers Act that was signed in. And the
May
Trading
the
with the
9th,
Enemy Act that was
1933.
signed.
Can I get a picture?
Federal Reserve
Federal
System.
Reserve Act
You know
that was
that.
signed in 1913.
Do you know about
You know the government
No, I
can
didn't
buy
think
back
so.
the Federal Reserve at $144 million is what we spend every 18 seconds.
That's all it would
It won't be
take.
a view.
That's how we would get out of debt.
Very
That's
simple.
Picture it up.
Very
So
simple.
you guys are from
Austin, Texas.
Give him a card.
He's got the only live show on the subject in town. And really, you should go grab your cameraman and do this while he's
I'm
here.
gonna see if we've got some more tape. I just
Would
thought
you?
we were running low on tape.
Could you see if you could do that? Thank you so much.
On the call of duty when he questioned orders to wear United Nations uniform insignia as his unit prepared to deploy to Macedonia, October 1995. Specialist New contended that his oath of allegiance is only to the United States of America. His objection is to the involuntary transfer of loyalty to a foreign entity. His extraordinary perception of the potential consequence of Americans dressing in foreign emblems, serving under an alien flag with other than U.S. field commanders, has challenged the entire American body politic to examine this dubious policy. Suspension of the Selective Service Act in 1973 reduced the representation of American men and women serving in uniform from upper-class families. Michael New's discernment that placing Americans under other than U.S. authority in disputed overseas combat areas wearing UN identification might further isolate our military from Washington, D.C. gentry of decision influence makers shows exceptional vision and wisdom. America must always include our military as part of, never apart from, the entire national body. Michael New's uncommon valor was further exemplified when he was constrained by superiors to reconsider his decision as a result of his conviction in the face of mounting authority. Both houses of the U.S. Congress are currently considering legislation backing Michael New's position. The Senate Majority Leader and Majority Whip of the U.S. House of Representatives have both expressed their support and appreciation for Michael New. A large delegation of Congress has written a letter to the President as Commander-in-Chief urging attention to Michael New's position. In the spirit of Generals Billy Mitchell, Douglas MacArthur, George Patton, and other heroes who have dared to question and stand on conviction, party may remain blinded by the letter of the law, we, the people of the United States of America, salute his superior understanding, vision, courage, tenacity, and honor. His action reflects great credit upon himself and the United States military, given under our hand, representing all 50 states on this first day of the year, 1996, signed as attached with recommendation and medal. Let's welcome our hero, Michael New.
I had considered going into the military as a career, but I wasn't sure yet. I've been that clearly established that when soldiers presented an order that is unlawful or immoral, he's not supposed to follow that order. Well, it just didn't seem to get through.
There was 4 ATF agents in the bar that Friday night saying watch Sunday morning, watch for the fireworks. So this crap about the media leak, it's a bunch of baloney. That's not. I know that his name was John. He don't work there anymore either. He's gone too. So everybody knew what was going on. We just didn't know where it was going to happen and what time it was going to happen. We didn't know who was the target, but we knew they were there.
You know where they called the new building down where we were having cars fixed, but they call it
Mag bag. Yes, ma'am.
The older gentleman that was there, the bartender, he saw them practicing right down
the road.
across from him. And he didn't realize it was
No. Well, who would think they would come out to somebody's home and then call it a compound? I can shoot through your house with a BB gun. I know where to hit it. I mean, this compound business is driving up the wall.
That building was so fragile that you could stand outside and shoot a gun and go right through all
Sure,
of it.
sure.
It was just,
Sure.
it was only
Sheetrock and tuber force.
It was only with it. We had taken down from the houses that we had torn down.
Amen.
So, you know.
I've been telling people now since this happened that, regardless of what you've heard from the media, the Branch Davidians as a people were folks that if you needed groceries, they'd bring you some groceries.
Listen, you know the man across the street where you had...
But the media's corrupted so many people that they don't even believe it. Like those pictures we just saw, they weren't there. That's a figment of my imagination. Yeah.
And he had to fix the house up because the bathroom toilet wasn't fixed, and he had meter and oil to do it, and I don't know. This is where he lived.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
They're here. Black choppers are here. The thing about it is, though, the government in their infinite wisdom have painted the olive drab military choppers a flat green with enhanced black, so the military choppers now look black flying. So everybody's seeing black helicopters. They're not. I've seen one black chopper in about 2.5 years, and it was definitely black. And I've seen others, in photographs that were black. But we don't have the massive black choppers here because what they've done is they've painted the military choppers to look so dark when they're flying you think they're black. So everybody that sees them thinks they're seeing a black chopper, so they think they're everywhere. But the military choppers are doing exactly what these guys were doing before anyway. They're doing the same exact. I've got a friend who's still in the reserves. He's flown 112 missions with the DEA, drug interdiction, what the National Guard and Reserves do right now. They target places with listening devices. They can hear everything you say inside your house without even being close enough for you to hear them. They can do all this stuff. They can turn your phone wires inside your house into a transmitter so everything you say can be picked up on the horizon 2-3 miles away by one of these choppers.
Now what happens if you unplug your phone?
Nothing. They use the wires.
Can they still?
Yes. They use the wiring, the actual wiring in your house. You've seen the little ad for the television thing that plugs into your wiring that makes the whole system a receiver? They can triangulate their deals and they can make it a transmitter. So they can hear everything you say. They don't have to put a bug in your house.
What can you do to your phone to make it safe?
You got to buy one of their $400 units that scrambles everything you say.
Really? And doesn't that mean they can hear everything going on in your home 24 hours a day?
If you're a targeted individual, there is nothing you say that's not being recorded somewhere.
That's right. That's what I thought.
Amen.
Okay.
You
want to talk about the metal roof?
I forgot the company that put the satellites up there, but they're like 19 miles up. It's a 1666 satellite system. It's a joint venture between 3 or 4 companies in the United States government. They can track a person, an individual worldwide, and run across them about every 16 minutes now. All right, you're gridded every 16 minutes, approximately every 16 minutes. They have surveillance over you. They can read a postage stamp from their distance in the sky. Now that's how close they can get. So
well, we're like ants.
There's no running and hiding. A lot of these guys are fighting dragons with toothpicks. It's not going to work. You got to be smarter than the people. They got to be smarter than they are.
I don't think there's any way you can run.
They're just people just like us.
Yeah, they are.
They're just following orders, just like Hitler's in the
point is, how do we get to their hearts?
Well, you just keep doing what we're doing right now. You get out the correct and factual information. You don't put out BS.
No.
You get the documentation, like the pictures I gave Mr. Troutman. That's there. They may say they weren't, but they were there. You know, he's got copies. I'll make copies. I'm going to give copies to these gentlemen here.
Absolutely.
They're there. Now, what's that called? It's called prepositioning. All right, they're getting. When you go on deployment, you preposition equipment to be used at those junctures. All right, this stuff that's coming in from overseas is not all going to New Mexico. Where's it going? Nobody can find out. I've got a contact at Fort Hood. He works in supply. They're shipping out stuff daily. They shipped a train of 87 tanks out just a couple days ago. It's going north. Where did it go? There's no exercise going on up there. Where's this stuff going? What are they going to use it for?
I think it's
what do we got German troops here for? What do we got Russian troops here for? What do we got? You know, what's this NATO belong? NATO is a arm of the United Nations.
It is. And you know they're not peacekeepers.
No, they're not peacekeepers.
No way.
We're going to peacekeep the Israelis, and they're going to peacekeep us.
That's not right.
They're going to ship our boys out, make them all sick or kill them. If they don't go over and don't put on the hat like Michael Newell refused to do.
That's right.
You know, you put the blue on, or you go home with a dishonorable discharge. You know, you can't serve your country. When you take the uniform off and go home and defend your own property, you can't do that because the uniform is smart. You're stupid again. As long as you wear the uniform, you're good to go. If you take the uniform off, you're a dumb peasant again.
That's right.
We're useless eaters. We're vessels within the use at their discretion.
Yeah, that's their opinion.
They come to my house. This cowboy's got news for me. In Oklahoma.
It's before the bombing.
That's
where was that
a
at?
military base.
Oh, that's a military base?
That's right. You see a rider truck right there?
They flew back over the day after the bombing. Nothing was in there. The whole place was empty. He's got that picture also.
That's why we're doing investigative.
That's why we have terrorist regulations.
So you don't think that guy's responsible up there, that Timothy McVeigh?
McVeigh's a fall guy.
Well, I mean, I believe that. Just like they always thought.
They're supporting.
Who was that guy?
No, they're not supporting themselves.
He got caught shredding all that. Oliver North.
Oliver North?
Yeah.
He's as dirty as the rest of them.
He's just a puppet in all
dirty,
of it.
but he took the blame.
He's a puppet.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm all about that.
No, you don't get to where he was without knowing what you were doing, believe me.
Yeah, well, he knew what he was doing, but
he knew exactly what he was doing. This is the kind of junk.
How do you know that's the same rider truck?
We don't.
Okay.
But how much speculation did it take? How many coincidences did it take to make a coincidence?
Well, I mean, I don't know, but
why'd they show up in Houston the other day with their little mock exercise down with the 160th Special Forces Night Stalkers? Why'd they show up in rider trucks?
I couldn't tell you.
Ops operations in rider vehicles. You can go to the Soldier Fortune magazine and get the whole article, written by James L. Pate. They showed up in rider trucks and civilian clothes. Our tax dollars at work. Thank you very much. What kind of deal is that, you know? I mean, give me a break here.
I'm sure this is really deep.
Yeah, it gets deeper and deeper. That's the problem. It gets too deep. You know, where do you want to start and where do you want to stop?
Well, here's the root of the problem right there.
No, don't.
I mean, you know, it's just stuff like this, the seismic charts, we got the seismic records they say never were there.
Oh, yeah, I know.
We got the proof, you know, they shut the people up. Go back to the Branch Davidian thing, Randy Weaver. What's it going to take to wake everybody up? I mean, give me a break.
We just asked her.
When does
and we asked her, do you know
Court
what
of
the
Law
New
not
World
found
Order is?
anybody guilty?
How can you work here and not know what the New World Order is? And she doesn't know anything.
Not letting
You got out after you was in there while they started shooting?
I was in there while
That's what the New
Really?
World Order is. It's a
And you
world
got out after
government.
that?
Is what it
I mean,
is.
I got out, yeah, a couple of days after.
Really?
Yeah, because David had made it take me one
it's just a rider truck. How many
here,
questions do you need?
and so I brought it out.
You know.
That's a bad thing.
This was after the place had caught fire?
We don't. Good.
After one day.
You're right.
And then the fire.
You're right.
Okay.
We've got to get that message.
You know, they say money talks. They say money
It says
talks.
warning,
Problem is no one's listening to what it's saying.
Right.
Did you ever look at this
It's
here?
not legal transcript.
Well, it's true.
This was put on this
So there's a protest.
dollar bill in 1933, and in Latin.
That's what I took from this.
Very interesting.
In Latin.
Well, that's good.
Very good.
Well, the man who gave this to me, I was talking to, and I got good advice
Well,
from him,
it
and that's
takes
why
about 3 to 4 cents to print that, and they charge us a value of $10 when it's
the
worth
guy
about
had
Boy,
a
this is
stamp
good
with stamping all
stuff,
his
isn't
money
it?
he was giving up to that lady buying coats.
Hey,
Wonderful.
Lynn,
Yeah.
tell them
Well, so
about
I
this.
traded my money of mine from
Look at this now.
this
Let me
to that.
explain this to you. What's your first name?
Dawn.
No, that's right.
Sunrise.
Nouveaux
every day.
Ordo Seclern.
Tell her what that means when you translate that
Well, I
in
gotta go
Latin.
listen to John. I want to tell you, he's
the
in there.
birth of
The birth of the New World
Announcing
Order.
the birth of the New World Order. Right there on your money system.
It's right
It's
there.
done in 1935.
33.
33 is when they
Oh,
did that.
what is this?
But the money was not printed until like
It means the birth.
Very interesting concept. Right there for the camera viewers.
Right there.
New World Order. Nouveau Ordo Seclorum.
And what
We're
year
telling
did they
you right,
begin that?
1933.
See,
Telling you right
1933.
there that they're
Well, that's
announcing.
why the stamp is on there.
Yes.
To
As a
say it
protest.
doesn't mean anything.
Yes.
Exactly.
Right. It doesn't
Well,
mean
that's-
anything.
okay.
It's worthless money.
Well, it's
Worthless
backed by
paper.
faith.
Exactly.
Since it's not backed by anything, it's backed
Right.
by
This
faith.
is
No
That's
gold.
by faith only. People believe in it, so therefore it works.
If they want to decide that it's,
They let
that it's
themselves.
We love you.
if they want to decide, if the people that print that want to decide that it's worthless. That's how much of it. And that's the start of the
These are
problem.
capital crimes.
Thank you very much.
Like,
Hello, this is Dawn. I'm with Coast to Coast Security, and this is Jeff Davis. You're live.
that's right.
Yeah, that'll work. Thank you very
And she's
much.
sunrise.
Yeah.
True.
Thank you
Happens
very
every
much.
day.
Thank you very much. All right, here we go.
Hey, this is Dawn. This is Jeff Davis. Watch the show. He'll teach you what he can teach me.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Hey. Nothing like a cute face.
Pay attention.
What?
She feels it herself. She says she already feels the communist stuff going on. Well, when I came back into this country in '67, I knew something was seriously wrong. That far back, I knew. But what is this light?
It's a mineral light.
Huh? Mineral? Mineral light.
Hi, I'm Jackie Miller, Undersecretary of Public Relations for the Republic of Texas. Tune in to Jeff Davis's show on April 28th and learn more about the Republic of Texas.
Oh, well, yeah, he already nailed me.
Yeah, we ran his video for you for a couple about 29 that sucker for you.
Good. 20
No
times?
ID, yeah, ladies.
You poor guys.
Del Bond.
Well, see, thank God the Lord has saved you with my new video. It's a documentary without my face.
See, I like to say, I'll tell you where I'm at here. I like Mark Warnicki better. I mean, he's hardcore. That's where I'm at.
Yeah. He basically said on the way out here.
Listen, if you were to go in front of this here, look at it.
I'm going to bring it up now. Okay. This is the Jeff Davis Show in Dallas, Texas at the Preparedness Expo. We're going to do a short interview with Hoppy Heidelberg, who was basically, Hoppy, if you'd fill us in, you were kind of a grand juror of the McVeigh trial.
Well, yeah, I was on the grand jury. I was seated on the grand jury in January '95, 4 months before the bombing. So it didn't start out being the bombing grand jury, but it ended up that way. So we were seated in January. We didn't become the dedicated bombing grand jury until May of '95. We delivered our indictments on August the 10th, '95. And then after I realized that there was not going to be an investigation of the bombing, I wrote a letter to the judge telling him what was going on. And he either had to answer my letter or kick me off the jury, and so he did.
Now, we had just run your video. Let me just get to the fine points of this. Basically, you're claiming, sir, that this whole jury process, this indicting process, was that you had requested certain people, certain
Witnesses,
to
sure.
be subpoenaed, maybe that might have a little alternative information other than what
Explosives experts,
Right.
seismologists, structural engineers, those kind of people.
And basically, you're claiming that the prosecution that was controlling who was being subpoenaed, what the information was going to be allowed. So basically, your contention is to sum it up is that the whole thing was a staged.
It was sham, yes. It was a sham. Worse than that, in my opinion, is obstruction. Now, if I hadn't made any requests, it would have just been a sham. But since I made the request and was turned down, it becomes obstruction of justice, in my opinion.
do you have any predictions or analysis or whatever, the way you see how this thing might unfold ultimately?
The trial in Denver, I cannot predict what the conclusion will be, but it'll be whatever they need.
Well, who needs?
The people staging the trial, because it could be, for example, if they needed, right now, in my opinion, an acquittal would do more than a conviction, because there were certain, they pulled the teeth on some, and that when they passed the terrorist bill after the bombing, they didn't get everything they wanted. They canceled some of it out. Well, if they have an acquittal, they could go to the people and say, see, we need all of that back. So I would think that an acquittal would do them more good than a conviction, but they take so many polls, I guess they'll just take polls, and whatever suits their purposes the best, so we have to come out.
Do you have any concluding statements that you'd like to say that you think that, from your experience of dealing with this, what have you learned anything? Did it change your life?
Well, it's changed my life, but I don't know that. Well, I guess I learned a little. You always like to think the best of everybody and everything, and it's very painful to discover that the justice system, any justice that comes from the justice system is purely accidental, I can assure you. And it got everything's choreographed. I mean, it's all professional harassment. It's just, that's what it's become, and it's our own fault. We've got the kind of government we deserve. We allow all this to go on. We can't complain. It's our fault. I mean, Benjamin Franklin told us when he came out of the convention, he said, we've given you a republic if you can keep it. We haven't kept it.
Hoppy Heidelberg, I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Jeff.
Appreciate it.
All right. Hi, this is Hoppy Heidelberg. I want you to watch the Jeff Davis Show, and you will find out some things about the bombing you need to know, and hopefully you'll find out what we're planning to do in Oklahoma City to investigate the bombing ourselves with Oklahomans for the Truth. And Joyce, I want to say hi to you, and thank you so much for having me on your show. And I can do it over as many times as you need. So, hi, this is Hoppy Heidelberg. I want to welcome you to the Jeff Davis Show about the Oklahoma City bombing. And I want you to know that we are trying to investigate it and learn all that we can. And we're not satisfied that we know the truth yet. And we are doing everything we can. And I have formed a corporation called Oklahomans for the Truth, and we're going to hold public hearings. And I want you to watch the Jeff Davis Show, and I want to say hi to Joyce Isaacs on KBET. Thank you, Joyce, for having me on your show.
Hey, there's one other guy I want to go talk with.
No ID found?
Except for straight shorts.
Okay, we got it.
Okay, y'all.
We ready?
Yes, we're ready. Anytime you're ready.
I'll just try to get that.
Yeah, why don't you hold that?
I'll just get to the lady. Get on it?
Yeah.
Okay. Guys, give me a call. Okay, we're ready. Okay.
No problem.
This is the Jeff Davis Show again in Dallas, Texas, at the Preparedness Expo. And we're interviewing at this time Mr. Terry Cook, who's written a book called The Mark of the New World Order. And Terry, it's a pleasure to have you here. I want to just mention that we were actually ran your No ID Found a couple of years back. If you will, tell us a little bit about what is this New World Order that we're hearing about?
Well, you can take up a lot of time explaining the New World Order, people, but let me get right to the bottom line. The New World Order is global communism. That's the bottom line. We're being told otherwise. We're being told that communism has died, that Cold War is over, and indeed the Cold War is over. It's about to become a very hot war. They won. We didn't win. The communists won. And we're being led to believe otherwise. I have documentation from a former KGB officer's book. Anatoly Golitsyn wrote a book, Perestroika Deception. He said this whole perestroika thing from Gorbachev is a planned KGB deception that will ultimately lead to the United States being conquered, or having been conquered by the year 2000, or will have been conquered by the year 2000. See, so right now, we think that the Cold War is over. We think that America has won, that we're the only remaining superpower, which is all nonsense. We're being disarmed. We have been disarmed, and we're going to continue to be disarmed until the year 2000, at which time the Soviets will launch a surprise attack, conquer America, and then give us first an international ID card, and then later on inject us with chips. Now, the Bible tells us that the ultimate leader of this system of global communism will be the Antichrist, the devil himself in a human body, and that he will cause them all to worship him and cause them to receive his devil's mark, 666, in their right hand or forehead, without which no one will buy or sell anything in the world. That's where all this is going. The New World Order is Satanism. It's going to be devil worship, the chief devil himself, the Antichrist, and also the devil invented communism through human agents. Karl Marx was a Satan worshiper. The Nazi system was also demonically inspired by Adolf Hitler, and he was a devil worshiper. So the bottom line is all this enslavementism, whether it's called Nazism, communism, or any other ism, it's all Antichristism, it's all Satanism, and ultimately it'll lead to death, destruction, and turmoil under the leader called the Antichrist. And the Bible says that in chapter 13, verses 16 through 18, that the whole world except Christians will readily accept this and worship the devil.
Now, one thing I got to mention to you now, when we ran this No ID Found thing, you had talked about this movement towards 50 states moving towards this system on this driver's license. And you know what? In the state of Texas, where I live, Austin, Texas, in fact, they are already starting to implement the striker plates. So this was just, I mean, some of the other things that you were talking about, smart highway systems. Right. This stuff is real.
Oh yeah, absolutely. 4 years ago.
Well, go ahead.
4 years ago when I did that tape, no one had heard about it, so it was shocking, and many people thought I was a nut. But now it's happening in the newspapers every day, and therefore I'm no longer a nut. I'm just a very intelligent man now. They say 4 years ago I was a nut. Now I'm an expert.
Let me ask you then, Terry. Where did you get this? Where did you?
Oh, it's real easy. I just read about it in a few technical journals and magazines, and then made a few phone calls to the highway departments and the manufacturing companies that were doing the engineering for the highway departments in various states, and they sent me documentary videotape footage and engineering information, and there was no one trying to purposely hide it. Right. It's just that it wasn't a big, it wasn't a big exciting project.
And isn't that something that you said on that video to finalize this whole thing? And this is my perception of it from my understanding. Is basically the fact that this whole thing this whole system of enslavement will be presented as good.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
When in reality, it's one of the most enslaving systems, tyrannical systems ever in the history of the world.
Well, that's right. But there are good sides to it. And that's how they're selling it to us. You see, they're emphasizing the very few good points about it, such as the electronic highway system being able to detect where you are if you have a heart attack, like the 911 system. They can track you via GPS technology, satellite technology, and they'll know where your car is at all times. Sure, if you have a heart attack, they're going to be able to know exactly where you are. But that's just a sales gimmick to make us all readily accept the technology, when ultimately and ulteriorly their goal is to enslave us. And that's, you know, the Big Brother society that's coming. George Orwell, who wrote Big Brother, 1984, was just a little bit off. He should have given his book the title 2004, because it looks to me like the year 2004 is going to be fairly closely resembling what he thought might occur. It's some utopian future date.
Terry Cook?
Yeah.
I want to just give you a minute to close if you have anything final to say, but I appreciate you.
Okay.
This little interview here on the
Thank
Jeff
you very
Davis
much.
Show.
And we'd sure appreciate it if people would call us for our videos and our books. Our video is titled The Mark of the New World Order. It's different than our book of the same title, Mark of the New World Order. The book consists of 400 pages of 7 years of research. And the video is a 1-hour documentary. Both are obtainable from me for $40 in Oregon. People can simply call my...
The cards are not the... Are you familiar with this Lone Star card they're giving to these welfare people in Texas?
I've heard about it, yeah.
So that's part of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's all tied to the feds. And the feds won't give welfare to the states.
So that they're
unless the states...
the control of things at the top.
Exactly. The driver's licenses are all funded by the FBI.
Oh my God.
Every state DMV is getting quiet money from the FBI.
Also, sort of the CRTs and local APD.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
It's all funded by NCIC FBI program. Yeah, well,
Okay.
you just sometimes you have to want to see. Most people don't.
Okay, go ahead.
So this is Terry Cook. I'm on the, what's the name of the program? I'm tired.
Yeah.
This is Terry Cook on the Jeff Davis Show. And we're making an offer to anyone who will send us a $40 check. We'll be happy to send them a 1-hour documentary video called The Mark of the New World Order. And that video is accompanied by a 400-page book by Terry Cook. That's me. I'm Terry Cook. And this is a very informative package that will bring you right up to date regarding surveillance, Big Brother-ish type technology from a Christian slant, from a Christian point of view. I'm a fundamentalist Christian who's warning people that Big Brother is going to be the Antichrist, and he's going to first mark us and tag us and track us with ID cards, and subsequently the ID cards will be replaced by microchip implants under the skin. This information is very informative. It's not sensationalized junk. It's well documented from secular sources out there in the real world, and I think you'll be impressed with the unbiased report writing nature of it, and the fact that it will educate you as to what's going on. I've sold about 40,000 of these videos worldwide, and I haven't had a single letter of complaint from anybody other than someone wrote me to say that the video was too lightweight. It wasn't strong enough. And I designed it to be that way for a reason, so that people can show non-believing people what God is about to do and what the Antichrist is about to do to the world without being turned off by too much religion. So this book is very low-key on religion, the video as well, and it's excellent information that will convince people that indeed something's happening, and it's probably related to the Bible's end-time prophecies. So we sure hope that you'll write us or call us. The phone number in Oregon at which you can call us is 541-593-9916. That's 541 area code 593-9916. And the address you can show people on the back of the video later. You can just film this later if you want to film it. And you guys can do that whenever.
Yeah.
Service that happened in Waco, not for the Branch Davidians as it is, but more or less as Americans. But these are the people that did die, and this is a memorial for them. We planted a whole bunch of crepe myrtles for them. Everything survived. I've never seen a 100% success rate before, but we got 100% there. And everything's beautiful. You ought to show up this April 19th or any April 19th. Expect to have the memorial start at 9 o'clock in the morning and end about 1 o'clock.
Flood car. So on a railroad train, you follow that sucker around the country for a while. Make it go down the Houston, put on one of the ships and go track it down. Oh, that's what Bob wanted.
Hello there, Mike. How you doing? If you want to find out what's really going on in the world, check out the Jeff Davis Show in Austin, Texas, Channel 10, ACTV. Mike, Jeff Davis Show. Check it out. If you want to find out who all the members of the elite are, get a copy of Who's Who of the Elite. Find out more about it, check with the Jeff Davis Show. ACTV, Channel 10, Austin.
I'm just going to run the battery out here.
Hey, in this business, so the fact is you don't know who's provocateur.
Go ahead, Jeff. Give you a little statement and I'll put it.
All right, this is Jeff Davis again with the Jeff Davis Show in Dallas, Texas, Preparedness Expo. This time we're interviewing Terry Reed. Terry, appreciate your taking the time here. Can I show a couple of your little books here?
Sure, mate.
He is the author of the book Compromised, Bush, Clinton, and the CIA. And he's also got some videos out, the MENA Connection, which I'm absolutely positive is at least parts of the Plato Lunch program before. And also Vanishing Jobs. I'm going to kind of interview a little, just start initially, Terry. First off, you're a prior CIA operative, is that correct?
That's right.
Okay. When did you first start gathering information on the CIA and drug money?
Well, actually, as I lived it, this wasn't a situation of investigating something from the outside, but actually being involved in a covert operation that included a drug pipeline, and discovering it, and then wrestling with what to do about it, and ultimately reporting it to my superior officers, and then realizing that they didn't want to hear this, and of course, instantly I was labeled potential liability and persona non grata, and pretty much devoured by my own guys.
What's your actual claim? Now the MENA is that from the information you've gathered, well, go ahead briefly into your story as far as what you discovered. I guess it's coming out of MENA, Arkansas.
Yeah, my story really begins in Southeast Asia. If I'm touching that just briefly. Worked over there in Air Force Intelligence as a young intelligence officer. Worked in a highly classified operation that involved direct air support, material support to the CIA in Laos and Cambodia. And that put me in a position to meet some of the people that later surfaced in the Iran-Contra scandal. Those guys sort of track you through life, once you audition well in uniform. Sort of put you in a position to be recruited for later operations as a civilian, and that's what happened to me. I got out of the military after 8 years of honorable service, went into an industry that was full of KGB agents just by accident that forced me or caused me to be recruited by the FBI's counterintelligence division. That led to me being introduced to Oliver North and the CIA back when North was a major, and back when no one knew who he really was. That put me in an interesting position to be briefed about the Reagan administration's efforts to bypass Congress and support the Contras. I was told that all this was going to be taking place in Mena, Arkansas. And being a former Vietnam veteran and a person who assisted the Cambodians and Laotians in fighting their war, I was asked to become a flight instructor in this operation in Mena. So I did that, and that put me in a real interesting position to observe then Governor Bill Clinton interacting with elements of the CIA that were
over in Arkansas.
I want to just touch briefly on. You're kind of onto this. I think some of your later stuff you've been promoting is tied into this New World Order.
Well, what concerns me in how the drug war is being used to undermine our Bill of Rights. And so as I lecture and talk about the connection between these acts, or the acts, the plan within the act is to get you, I feel, to give up elements of your rights as you demand more and more security, as we become more and more violent as a nation, as more and more drugs come into our culture, and as we decline industrially. My latest project is NAFTA, and you may think it's a hard connection to make, but I think it's very simple. If you look at our social decline, which is directly connected to our economic decline, you realize we're just bleeding profusely through free trade. Trade deficits now with China that rival Japan, and our high-tech jobs are leaving this country. And in the middle of that, you've got the war on drugs, turning this country into a police state.
It's kind of like the slave masters actually bring in the drugs, knowing that a certain amount of population will succumb to it, and then they turn around and create a little chaos and to the destruction of the Bill of Rights.
Absolutely. Everything plays out into the hands of those who would like to turn America into a banana republic. I think there is a strategy as the world becomes one big socialistic global trading partner, a strategy to demote America's living standard and elevate the rest of the world at the same time. Multinational corporations are doing this. Ford Motor Company, their most automated engine factory in the world is in Chihuahua, Mexico. If you tour the Maquiladora zone between Mexico and Texas, as I have done, you'll be astounded to see not only the American corporations that are there with brand new facilities employing Mexicans, but then go look at the Asian competitors of those corporations who have likewise built new factories that take automation to another whole level. These are world-class facilities that employ robotics and lights-out technologies, it's called, mated with $2 or $4 a day labor, depending on whether you want skilled or unskilled people. American companies cannot compete against that. And so combining that with our open border policy in this trade policy, the flow of drugs has increased into the country. Yet, if you listen to the administration, the Clinton administration, what we needed, more police on the streets to chase the Americans around that are up here as drug users. Well, I see a little hypocrisy in this whole thing.
Terry, I want, as we wind down, again, I thank you for this little interview with Jeff Davis program up here. Did you have any closing statements you'd like to make? This should air on Monday the 14th, parts of this anyway. So,
well, I mean, people are right now are, I think, at an all-time low as far as hope for the country, for the government. I mean, the whole Whitewater, fiasco, lack of prosecution, allegations that Kenneth Starr is part of the problem. I mean, I've heard it all this weekend. I just think it's important for people to not give up. That's what they want us to do. We have to find the right causes to get behind. There still is hope. We're not broke individually. We may have a lot of debt, but so far the world is still clamoring for a piece of our market. What we have to do as Americans is identify what people want from us and start putting a price on their trading relationships with us. We have to quit buying foreign goods to punish our own corporations who are moving offshore. And it's all under our control, and we can do it as Americans if we just unite and quit fighting among ourselves.
We've been talking to Terry Cook. He's the author of Compromised, Clinton, Bush, and the CIA, and he's also had He's also produced a couple of videos, at least here, The MENA Connection and Vanishing Jobs, America Under Siege. Once again, Terry Reed, I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Coming on the program here.
Thanks for bringing me into your facilities here. This is quite a studio. Hi, this is Terry Reed, the author of Compromise, Clinton, Bush, and the CIA, and you're watching the Jeff Davis Show in Austin, Texas. And continue to support this kind of programming. In order to get a copy of my book or my subsequent tape, The MENA Connection, simply pick up the telephone and call 1-800-201-7892.
Okay, we're back here with a little follow-on with Terry Reed. He's the author of the book, Compromise, Clinton, Bush, and the CIA. He's a former CIA operative. And I want to just ask a quick question of you because it came up in our private discussion here, and I want to just have you say it for our viewing audience. As you, Terry, as somebody that's actually worked for the CIA and flown planes and whatnot, there is absolutely no doubt in your mind whatsoever from everything you've seen that this arm of the government called the CIA is bringing the drugs into this country.
Jeff, there's no doubt in my mind. I mean, I didn't investigate this story. I lived this story. I personally witnessed the drug activity. That's what caused me to divorce myself from the intelligence community. So this isn't an investigative journalist you're talking to, trying to connect the dots from the outside, looking inside. You're talking to a guy that was inside, witnessing it, and I know the players. Felix Rodriguez was right there at the helm of an operation under the control of George Bush. This may sound convoluted to people that don't want to accept it, but we haven't had a war on drugs. We paid for one, but we sort of got shortchanged in the process.
Okay, thank you again, Terry Reed. I appreciate it.
Yep, you're welcome.
Jolly good show.
I'm going to go find me a
Which I got to admit, I'm a big supporter.
Come on.
Don't buy any stars up on it. People have enough to decorate the Christmas trees.
Very big supporter.
Okay, Jeff.
Okay, this is the final interview.
Now, where am I going to look at? Him or there?
Wait a minute.
Okay, we're here with probably the final interview for Saturday the 12th of April at the Preparedness Expo, the Jeff Davis Show on tour up here in Dallas, Texas. And we're visiting with John Trockman, who is the co-founder of the Militia of Montana. Mr. Trockman, it's a pleasure to have you in here for this short little.
Thanks for having me.
This short little interview. John, first off, if you would just give us a little a brief history of what caused you to, or what, how did this Militia of Montana form, and what did you see the need for it and all of that?
It's not something that happened overnight. I've been in the military back in the early 60s. I was the Cuban Missile Crisis, and I watched the missiles stay as the ships brought decoys out, and it got my attention in a very large way. I watched my president get shot in the face the first time I voted. On military television, it was probably a little more than the public was able to see, so I've been in hot pursuit ever since, you might say. For the last approximately 22 years, it's almost been 100% involvement. The word militia was a word that we used in early 1994 for probably more of a rallying purpose than anything else. It reflected the ancestry of our nation, where it started, where it all started from.
Tell us a little bit, John, if you will. I visited your booth over there. Tell us a little bit, if you will, of your perception of this so-called New World Order that we hear.
Well, you mean the global grabbers?
Right.
That's exactly what it is. A global grab for all the natural resources, everything that mankind needs to exist. And as near as I can tell from the information that we have a lot of solid documentation. We don't say without it. Is a population reduction that's well underway. We just haven't seen the body count start coming back yet. And it's going to happen in this country. From the information we have, the population in America is supposed to be dropped to a maximum of 150 million by the year 2000.
Just let me interrupt you for a minute. What are some of the mechanisms
Well,
through abortion and AIDS?
Well, no, way beyond that. No, it's way beyond that. According to the Cobden clubs, which Congressman Gephardt from Missouri is a part of, which is the minority speaker of the House today, the population has to be reduced by military force when required. That's a pretty sturdy statement. But what we perceive them doing is to accomplishing this through what the public perceives as natural catastrophes that man has no control over, when in fact they do have control over it and it's being done on purpose. In 1976, I heard the Sierra Club say that we, the people, are wasting the natural resources that they believe belongs to them at much too rapid a pace and must be culled back. Like, they don't care for their fellow man. More is not enough. They want it all. That's why I call them global grabbers.
First off, how many men? There's several thousand in the militia, Montana. Is that correct?
Actually, there's nothing.
Well, okay,
to join.
that's right. You
No,
already
let me
answered
just
that.
say this now. There's nothing to join, nothing to sign up for. If you
Right.
claim to be a citizen, you're it.
Right.
Young or old, rich or poor, male or female. You have a vested interest to protect your backyard because that's where your children are playing. You don't need a paycheck for that. You don't need to sign anything.
But
It's
it
your
was
duty as a citizen.
But it was the militia in Montana. I was told that it was camped outside, and I support this, by the way. It was camped outside the Freeman so-called compound when the FBI was around them.
We
and the
were
militia
observing.
Montana was,
We were
was quoted
observing.
in the paper as saying that there would be no Wacos here. In fact, if the FBI attempts a
Well,
Waco,
let's backtrack that statement just a little bit. We went to Washington, D.C., a number of militias from around the country, and addressed the U.S. Senate on the anti-terrorism bill. And the FBI has told us afterwards, and it's not just us, it's many people that have been putting the pressure on. They say that the rules of engagement have changed because of what you and people like you have been doing, and they proved that in Jordan, Montana. They didn't use any military intervention and no bloodshed, which is the first for a siege for a while.
the statement wasn't made. Like I say, the statement wasn't made that if the FBI attempts another Waco, that they won't be leaving Montana.
Well, it wasn't quite like that.
Well, it's all right. I'm walking off the I thought it was humorous myself.
We had people there observing what was going on.
Yeah.
We believe that this should be aired in court. As corrupt as the courts are, every time we've been forced to use them, we've made them function properly because we forced the issues on them. We fought them and beat them at their own game, and we believe that the Freemen should be doing the same thing.
So are you in contact with, let's say, Norm Olson, Mark Kornicki, or like the Michigan militia? And
Occasionally, yes.
Yeah.
But the big ones in Michigan, as far as in touch with the people in the militia, is not Norm Olson anymore. And it's not John Stetmiller or Mark Kornicki. It's people like Tom Wayne, etc.
Yes. Oh, I wasn't even aware of that. I don't really follow. But what do you think then, John? Just the ultimate question. What do you think then that these armed American people, I don't even like to refer to them as citizens, but armed American people, what do you think ultimately could be their function if this new world order continues to get rammed down our throats?
Well, the biggest weapon in America today is the media, is the tool of what you're doing and other people are doing across the country to inform, to educate. Much more powerful than anybody's firearm. The firearms that the militia holds is extremely antiquated compared to the lethal technology that our military holds that they claim as non-lethal weapons. That's a lie. It's extremely lethal, and it's mass destruction at one stroke of their equipment. What we see and suggest is it all happening through an educational process to wake our fellow Americans up. Our founding fathers faced the same thing, and there were 6 years of very hard, gut-wrenching education that they went through to rally their 3%. Now, we already know we have more than 3%, but more is not enough. We want all of America together, to work together, to put away our petty differences and to put our nation back together.
John Trockman, I wanted to say that first off, I appreciate your time you spent on the Jeff Davis program. Did you have a final comment or statement you'd like to make to the viewers that are watching the show at this time?
I sure would. Don't take anybody's word for anything, folks. Work out your own salvation. Learn to save your own backside. Learn what it's all about on your own. Do your own research. Certainly don't listen to the lying lips of the great Satan that we have to call mass media today.
Anyway, okay. John, again, I do appreciate it. You're a man that I've had respect for a while.
I'm just a plain old plowboy. we're all in this together.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, maybe not. Hey, folks, this is you don't get your regular T-shirts here at the Preparedness Expo. You get this.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Put
some up here. Put some. Well, get it up there, Jeff.
Okay, folks, these aren't your average bumper stickers here at the Preparedness Expo.
All right. Trying to recover from a hard day. Hard.
Right here. Good. That's a good one right there. These aren't your average bumper stickers, folks. Jeff Davis Show on tour down here.